so. I'm not at data.
Okay. Hey guys, welcome back to Resistance Chicks. We're your hosts, Leah and Michelle. Today is Sunday, October 8th, 2017. So we want to bring you the top Euro and UK news. We're going to start with Theresa May's speech.
No, actually, I was going to Poland.
Okay, we're going to Poland. Just kidding. We'll come back to Theresa May. I had Nigel up. I come. There's Theresa. Okay, Poland. We're hitting it all.
No, that's cool. That's okay. I'd asked you to bring up the Poland ones, but if you're ready to do Theresa, then
Nope. The Poland is in the other tab.
Well, the Theresa May speech is actually incredibly hilarious, and I guess we could start with Theresa May's speech. I don't have everything up right now. But you do. You have something with Nigel up. Is that what you said?
I did. I don't know where it went. Okay, so I got that sent one by so I don't know which. I thought I brought it up. Maybe I didn't. No, I totally did. I had it going. Where did Nigel go?
Okay, so Theresa May had a speech, and the big thing that pointed out to me over everyking was this bracelet. Okay, we're going to talk about her cough. We're going to talk about
she
her
had a cold.
We're going to talk.
Sorts.
We're going to talk about the fact that some crazy guy handed her the P45 or whatever. He said that Boris Johnson made him do it. But first off, this is what really stuck out to me. I had no idea who this woman was, but she wore this bracelet at the Conservative Party of a communist. This woman, her name is Frida Kahlo, is a Mexican woman who dated Trotsky, who when Stalin died, she cried and said the whole world lost like a hero. She was a member of the Mexican Communist Party. And so, first of all, it's a god-awful, ugly piece of jewelry. But more than that, it represents things. You know that if you are the leader of the UK, like...
Yes.
And you're going to go address all of your party members. So, my question to you in the UK... is every leader in the entire UK Parliament a communist? I'm serious. Or, I should say, a communist sympathizer. Is it okay now? Because it's not okay with me.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you why. Because if this woman had dated Hitler...
Good point.
Would that be okay? Why is it okay for us to, like, everybody's a Nazi and Germany has to live forever in shame over the rise of Hitler, right?
Right.
But communism has killed more people worldwide than Hitler ever did. And communism continues today to keep people in China, in North Korea, in Venezuela, in Cuba, and even Vietnam under a totalitarian rule. This communism, the ideals of communism, are just as bad as the ideas of Adolf Hitler.
Yes.
And so when it just boggles my mind. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up a couple links here. I wasn't the only one to point this out. Go ahead and give me your comments. I need to know, is everybody in the UK Parliament a communist?
All right, so John Daniel says most of the Conservatives are center-left these days because most of the establishment has embraced cultural Marxist politically correct ideas. Let's see. Stephen Charles says, May is a liberal ruled by the banks. She is a puppet leader. Britt Braza says, bad choice of Theresa May's bracelet on such an important speech. Yes.
But was it a bad choice? Because at the Etsy where this is sold, it's not sold on Etsy. Somebody makes these. Everything that this person makes is revolutionary.
Wow.
I do not believe that Theresa May could be so stupid. If she's that stupid, then she shouldn't be your leader. But I don't believe she's that stupid.
No, everything is done on purpose.
God-awful looking bracelet. You know who that is. She's a very famous artist. And so she made a statement, just like Jeremy Corbyn. Here's the chick. Her name is Frida Kahlo. She had a custom-made hammer and sickle corset. Now, let me tell you, you know, it boggles my mind that these communists think that they can live some sort of beautiful life. She's a bisexual, and people, like, lift her up as some sort of... Somebody put a Theresa May bracelet.
That's hilarious. I don't even know if you guys can see that, but that's fantastic. I love the internet.
Theresa May, Frida Kahlo bracelet at Tory Bunfest. Kahlo was a feminist, communist artist, Trotsky lover. Despised everything that Theresa May says she stands for.
Jack Russell says not heard anyone over here talking about it. No surprise there.
I should tell you that they did write about it in, I think the Independent wrote about it. There was a couple articles that mentioned it. Here we go. The UK Metro. Theresa May subtly signals shift to communism wearing a Frida Kahlo bracelet. Jake says, Comrade May is a sleeper agent tasked with destroying the conservatives from the inside.
Which, I don't know, it sounds so sinister to say, but it could be true.
I honestly think it is true. Theresa May, she seems to align more with Jeremy Corbyn. She spent an entire speech, and every time she said the name Jeremy Corbyn, over and over and over again, everybody kind of cheered, like she was rallying against him. But she aligns more with him than not.
Yeah.
So I wanted to bring that to you. I do think that more people should be talking about it. And now let's...
Now there was a security breach of some sort there. Do we have volume?
Do we have volume? I think we might. Let's turn it up. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to get to that a little bit more. I think that's not quite as...
No, more loud?
Yeah, more loud.
More louder.
So in this one, they say that she is channeling The West Wing, which is a TV show. So her whole line here is copied straight from this TV show.
That we reach deep within ourselves and find that our capacity to rise to the challenge before us may well be limitless.
And every time we think we've measured our capacity to meet a challenge, we look up and we're reminded that that capacity may well be limitless.
That's embarrassing. That's
the entire line. I mean, that's kind of a convoluted line to just make up.
You know what? It's kind of like when preachers run out of sermons on Sunday and they go and steal it directly from some movie.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
Oh
so here is kind of a good explanation.
First of all, you have to feel sorry for her that she had a cold. I mean, that's awful. However, I was listening to Nigel's Sunday show today, and he's, because a lot of the callers that were calling in said, "Oh, I feel sorry for her," And he's like, listen, we shouldn't have to feel sorry for our leaders, but they weren't feeling sorry for her just because of the cough. They were feeling sorry for her because the entire thing.
Well, one of the things she said was, I think we lost the most recent election that you guys had to try to get more people on Brexit side.
Hang on. Shawnee says, and they're there with their Pepsi Max today, I really think the only reason May is still leader is because the Tory party would be in even more disarray if there was a leadership contest. It's a bit like, you made this mess, you clean it up. Now, again, with Nigel's show, I was listening, his question for the day was, who do you think should lead the country? Because in Nigel's opinion, he's been like, it shouldn't be her, man. And people were calling in, and a lot of people were going, Jacob Rees-Mogg. Obviously, some of them were like, oh, you, but that's like a pipe dream. Which I don't know how much of a pipe dream it is to think that Nigel could end up being prime minister one day. But Jacob Rees-Mogg, I think, is a real contender. I think that could happen. I would love to see that happen. Go ahead.
She's having a bad day.
The deficit is back to pre-crisis levels.
No. Sorry.
Sounds like my voice isn't on track.
Lots of water. She's going to have to pee a lot after this one. There goes the letters. And there we have the resignation form.
Boris asked me! Oh, Boris, please say you did this!
He's a comedian, from what I understand.
After losing a majority in the parliament,
did not get the victory
after the
we
snap
wanted,
election,
because our national campaign fell short. It was too scripted, too presidential.
too buffering.
Well, what she says there is it's too
hold
scripted.
my hands up for that.
She says it was too scripted and too presidential, but this entire speech is scripted.
Responsibility. I led the campaign, and I am sorry.
And then the British press had a field day. You have to admit the letters falling is pretty funny.
I think it's fantastic.
May starts off well by saying her election campaign was too scripted and then repeats the British dream 8,000 times in 40 minutes.
Her leadership has been clouded by divisions within her party over Brexit. Conservative MPs are expecting May to secure a Brexit deal in 18 months, but some are skeptical if she'll even last that long in office.
It is our responsibility as a government to prepare for every eventuality. And let me reassure everyone in this hall, that is exactly what we are doing.
So what did you guys, I'm sure you guys all saw the speech. Tell us what you think.
I like what Otto said, that she's caught Hillary's cough.
Oh my goodness.
Let's see. Britt Plaza says we do need May as leader at the moment because of Brexit, but Jacob Rees-Mogg is great. Let's see. Paul says Mogg will never be leader. The reason is he is an actual conservative. Good point.
I'm watching the F fall down.
Again.
Oh, it's just funny. It's just so funny.
Oh my gosh. Let's see. So Jack was agreeing with Britt Bozzi says agreed. If May gets unseated, Hammond is in, and then we will be leaving in name only. Otto thinks it was planned incompetence. Let's see. Froco says at least May doesn't birth little green aliens when she coughs, so that's a plus, I guess. I love that. Shawnee says, I do agree with you, Baza. I think the fact that she is in the middle of Brexit exit is saving her for now. It's kind of like when you stay together in a marriage for the children.
Well, I have to tell you, one article I read today was that the EU is getting frustrated with Theresa May and that they're turning to Jeremy Corbyn. Is that what y'all want?
No, that is. I mean, I can
seriously. One article I read that Theresa May has lost all respect in the European Union, and they're going to Corbyn. There was another leader. I don't think I tweeted him out, but you guys have another leader that's pretty spot on. He's pretty good in the Tory party, and he gave a speech at the Heritage Foundation.
Boris.
No, no, the different guy. I hadn't heard of him before. He gave a speech at the Heritage Foundation, and actually might be able to bring him up on Breitbart. I can bring him up.
St. Mark the Evangelist says, well, the UK government is considering a no deal with the EU, so maybe that might cover her blunder. That you know what? Like Nigel said today on his show, he's the one that coined the phrase, no deal is better than a bad deal.
So, let's see. If I can find the guy, I wasn't going to bring him up, but he was a pretty good MP. He gave a good speech at the Heritage Foundation saying 85% of the people, parties, voted for, like, pro-Brexit. What he was saying was, like, even, like, the Labour Party was pro.
It was a bipartisan
right
kind of
deal. Exactly. So, here he is. Nope, that's not him. What's this one? Tory MPs suspended after voting with Eurocrats Eurocrats on blocking Brexit talks. The Conservative Party has withdrawn the whip from 2 members of the European Parliament for voting with their EU counterparts against progressing. The Cabinet Minister David Davis demanding Jeremy Corbyn suspends his own 18 rogue Labour MEPs. Wow. In total, 26 MEPs voted with Eurocrats and backed a resolution supporting the European Commission's position that Britain has yet to make sufficient progress on the so-called divorce bill and the role of the EU court after Brexit. So it's kind of a big deal. You know, there's no unity here, and it's very disconcerting.
Jack Russell says, so they should, traitors. Snakesboro says, I prefer May. She may be like the purgatory, but that's better than Corbyn the hell. And Worth a Look says, EU will stall this for as long as possible.
I found him. How many of you have heard of Owen Patterson? I do not know who he is. I listened to part of his speech with the at the Heritage Foundation, and he calls for a hard Brexit by Christmas.
Wow.
Which was pretty cool in his speech, slamming the EU for their foot dragging over negotiating a trade deal with the departing United Kingdom, the number one priority for Brexit as far as the British government is concerned. The former Minister Patterson said the government should set a deadline, and if terms are not met, to simply call off talks and unilaterally depart from the Union. Articulating his aspiration that Britain should be more decisive in its dealings with the EU, Patterson said if the EU does not show serious intent to negotiate free trade agreements on the basis of reciprocal free trade based on mutual recognition of conformity of standards by Christmas, we should give clear notice on January 1st that we are leaving and we are going to work on the WTO terms. The World Trade Organization terms refer to the basic agreements for trade between nations set by the World Trade Organization. So I just play, I think at the... Let's see, at the 17 mark he begins to...
The common law of England, all statutes or acts of Parliament made in aid of the common law prior to the 4th year of the reign of King James I, shall be considered as in full force, until the same shall be altered by the legislative power of this colony. Delaware, New York, Pennsylvania and other states adopted very similar reception statutes. But the fact is, Brexit is going to happen, and it will be great for both the UK and the USA. Despite these decisive steps, there are still those, President of the European Commission, Monsieur Juncker, among them, who believe that we will back down or that the process can be derailed. This is unsurprising from a man who, before the French were asked to ratify the proposed European Commission in 2005, said, and I quote him, "If it's a yes, we will say, on we go, and if it's a no, we will say, we continue." He was true to his word. The French failed to ratify the Constitution, so it was simply reheated as the Treaty of Lisbon, and on the project went. When the Danes and the Irish had the presumption to vote against the EU consensus, they were told to go away and vote again until they produced the right answer. However, we will leave. For the first time in EU history, a country will not be cowed into rerunning a democratic vote whose verdict went against the Commission and the long-term European project. And this project is not static. The Five Presidents' Report of 2015 proposed fiscal, economic and finally political union by 2025. Without the restraint of the British pebble in the shoe, Juncker, in his State of Union address on the 30th September 2017, was proposing consolidation and compulsory membership of the Eurozone, and by 2025 a fully fledged European Defence Union. He called for a single European president and the use of passerelle clauses, allowing the Commission to bypass the concerns and wishes of democratic national governments. So I have absolutely no regrets that I was one of 3 founding MPs of the referendum campaign group Vote Leave. Our central message was that we must take back control of our laws, our money, and our borders. To control our own laws, we must end the jurisdiction of the European Court of Justice and leave the single market. To control our money, we will cease sending $11 billion net to the EU each year. To control our borders, we must leave the single market. And to control our trade policy, we must leave the customs union.
I listened to a good portion of his speech and I said, wow, this guy's really spot on. He's really smart. He gets it. He's like, he gets it. So I'm not, you guys probably know who this guy is. But he's, I don't know, pretty awesome. I loved his speech. So tell me, did you guys see this? Is this new to you?
I don't know if they saw it, but they do know who he is. Okay. And they are saying that he's spot on the Treaty of Lisbon, that it's not worth the paper that it's written on.
Not worth the paper it's written on.
Completely worthless.
Okay, well, speaking of the EU and people maybe possibly splitting, Poland doesn't seem to want to split. I find this to be more of the try to purify from the inside out. Poland just is saying, listen, we aren't taking any migrants. Whatever happens, happens. But, you know, if you keep pushing this, you will destroy the European Union. It will destroy itself.
Right.
So this was really, this is cool. I've been so excited to bring this to you. Thousands of Poles pray on the border against the Islamization of Europe. And this was so cool. They formed a human chain along the borders of Poland on the anniversary of a historic victory by Europe over the Ottoman Empire, officially to pray for peace and against the Islamization of Europe. I want to start showing you some of these pictures and then go back and read the rest of the article. Yeah.
That's so powerful.
This is, I mean, the difference between Christians praying and Muslims praying. I think that it's really important that we really understand the difference between Christianity and Islam. There are fundamental differences. There There's nothing alike. Now, you can say that there have been evil people within Christianity who've done things as evil as Islam.
Yes.
Right? But the principles...
But it's all the devil.
Right. But the principles of Christianity, love your neighbor as yourself, do good to those who despitefully use you, turn the other cheek. I mean, this is Christianity. Take care of the poor. Take care of the fatherless. Take care of your parents. This is Christianity. These basic principles should be adopted by every country in the entire world. Islam is not based upon those principles. Islam is an insular religion. It is not for everyone.
Right.
Christianity works for everyone wherever it is the main religion. It helps everybody. You treat everybody kindly. And so I was really excited to see this. The BBC, their report on it is that it's controversial. This is from the BBC. Poland Catholics hold controversial prayer. I'm not exactly sure how prayer can be controversial.
Hang on, I have to read this one because this is one of my favorite phrases, and I'm glad that John Daniel brought this up. He says, to mention again, Islam is cavalry and Christianity is cavalry.
Cool.
I love that.
So, this, I don't know if I can make this any bigger, but this was my favorite picture, just to kind of show you the spot for prayers here around the whole country.
Wow.
Isn't that pretty cool?
That's incredible.
I don't know, I get goosebumps. I'm excited to think about it. And then the BBC, of course, saying this was controversial. Now, the feast, the church leaders say the event is purely religious. And the feast marks the anniversary of a Christian victory over Ottoman Turks at the Sea Battle of Lepanto in 1571. People were bussed in from more than 300 churches to points all along the border. They stood in lines, some on beaches on the Baltic Sea, some in fields, some in towns. I wonder, like, wouldn't that be so cool if everybody in America just went all the borders and just prayed?
Let's do it. We could start it.
We should. We come to the border of Poland to pray for the Poles and the whole world, said one woman. We want our Catholic faith to continue, to keep our children safe, that our brothers from other countries can understand that our faith is unwavering, and that we feel safer, not only in Poland, but also in the world. I mean, in France, where Islam has taken over, in Paris, 50% of the women are afraid to use public transport. In Poland, they're not afraid. They're not afraid. They don't have anything to be afraid of.
Right.
That's Viktor Orban says, we will gladly help Romania protect its eastern border. That's kind of part of this here. You've got Romania here. Sure, we'll help out. Why not? He says, Romania will soon be under pressure of masses of incoming asylum seekers, and the country's border security will be key for Europe, according to Viktor Orban, Prime Minister of Hungary. Let's see. Oh, and President Trump has said that there is an invitation out to Viktor Orban, which is interesting.
That is interesting.
Called him a cool dude or something like that. I don't know. Not cool dude, but, you know. Strong leader, I think is what he said. Who told the based daily, that he would rather help Romania build a fence on its eastern border than have Hungary build one on its border with Romania. So here it's some video. A little bit different than Allah Akbar.
It is a little bit, isn't it?
A little bit different. I wanted to give you an idea of who put it together. LifeSite News said who are the organizers? Bodinski, the Solos Dios Basta Foundation. That's two filmmakers. I'm not going to
forget the names.
Name.
Doesn't matter. They and their wives and 9 children. I like that they included that.
Yeah. Agnieszka is a public relations specialist consecrated to the Immaculate Heart of Mary. Michael is a computer scientist who spends hours on his knees every day. Lut Askiz, I need like a lesson in pronouncing these names.
Forget it.
Is an advertising specialist with a warm heart, and Borotz is the boss of the foundation. He always keeps the office running smoothly, generally a great team. We are a group of lay people who have done various evangelical activities for years, organized retreats, give Christian witness in schools and parishes. Last year, they invited the Poles to a great penitential prayer for the sins committed in the past of our country. 150,000 people came to the spiritual heart of Poland, the sanctuary of the Mother of God, Queen of Poland. It was a powerful prayer. We beg God to heal us from the effects of our sins. This year now in 2017, the 100th anniversary of the revelations of, and maybe you guys know a little bit about the Fatima, where some young boys were said to have seen Mary, and it's kind of a big deal, even here, like in Milford and all over the world, the 100th year anniversary of that. So I wanted to bring this to you. I was really excited. I wonder if the BBC's video here, I actually haven't watched the BBC.
Mindy says, we support Poland and pray for Europe and also start praying to stop the Islamization of the USA too. I think this is something we can all join together on.
Zdrowaś Maryjo, łaski pełna Pan
i błogosławiony owoc żywota Twojego Jezus.
Święta Maryjo, Matko Boża, módl się za nami grzesznymi, teraz i w godzinę Twojego Jezus. Święta Maryjo, Matko Boża.
Musimy teraz po mojej lewej stronie, tamtą stronę, chwycić się słowa powiedziane Ci od Pana.
Is just solidarity amongst these people and such a unity. And it's not because they're Catholic, it's not because they're Polish, but it's because they believe in Jesus Christ and they want their people to be safe.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ is the King of Poland. And so in that, whether you're Catholic or not, and you believe in, you know, whatever kind of conspiracy theory you want to believe in, Jesuits, we're with you there, it doesn't matter. These people are Christians. They believe in Jesus Christ.
Right.
They are our brothers and sisters in Poland. So
right.
I am behind them 100%. I think getting the chain of people around the United States might be a little bit more difficult than like the UK where it's a bit smaller. But we have more people, so I don't know. But anyway, I'm really, really proud of the Polish people. It seems like they are always on the forefront of making a stance of just numbers of mass people coming out and standing for their faith to show the entire world this is where we stand and we're immovable. So I'm really, really proud of the Polish people.
And if there's anything like peaceful protest, right?
Yes.
You're allowed to assemble peacefully.
Right.
When Muslims stand in the middle of the road and they block off roads and they start yelling Allah Akbar and they start, you know, putting their prayers, our loudspeakers, this is not peaceful. You can feel it. We have to be able to say these things. We have to be able to say that when they push Islam on people, it's forceful, it's violent, it's trying to take over the government.
Right.
And when Christians come together, it's just different. And if you're not a Christian, you're not even going to understand the totality of what it means for Christians to pray. Like when a girl got in an accident across our street.
And then all of our, well, not all of them, but a lot of us started praying.
Of our neighborhood, we just got in a circle and we just started praying. I mean, the power of asking God to heal something is so powerful. And so that's what these Polish people are doing. They're seeking God. They're asking God. And I think that one of them, I've heard a couple people who, when they start to speak out against Islam, then they didn't have their faith inside of them, and so then they become atheists, because as they start to see the totalitarianism in Islam, but at the same time, I also see the opposite effect, that a lot of people are leaving Islam and becoming Christians. A lot of people who are now were kind of atheists or on the border, they realize that Christianity will fight and always has been the baddest sin against Islam. So, speaking of peaceful protests,
Catalonia.
Their Prime Minister Mariano Rajoy says that the Catalan Independence Declaration will have no effect. The EU is completely silent, and what I feel, they're not silent. They basically,
they're supporting Spain.
Said that it's okay. We don't want to get involved in a nation's internal affairs, but when it comes to migrants and things like that, we're totally involved in your internal affairs.
Right.
And I'm feeling this is the Nazism coming to rise. We had an abusive dad. And when I was younger, it was a lot worse. But then, as I got to be 12 and 13 years old, I learned what makes him mad,
right,
and what doesn't make him mad.
And so if you just learn the triggers, and not to do them, then there's more peace. And so you think that the abuser is getting better as a person, but rather you're just adapting to appease them.
And so this is what is happening. This is the EU. The EU was founded on, they were founded by the IG Farben guys, the Nazis created the EU, and they wanted a centralized power. I mean, you just heard that speech, maybe if you're just joining us, with Peterson, talking about how Juncker gave a speech, how he wants a president. He wants a king, basically, of all of Europe.
Right.
They want an army. They really are trying, they're pushing, this is their last kind of push to, they see it's kind of falling, so they want to try to push it to be the dream. The dream of these guys wasn't Hitler's dream. Okay? There were many men, evil people, who wanted a unified Europe for power and control and money. Okay, to be able to control all of Europe,
right,
makes certain people rich and wealthy. Okay, so you promise people, oh, we're going to take care of you. Oh, we'll take care of the sick. Oh, we'll do this. Oh, you know, it's just like Hitler throwing bread out to the Austrians, right? You know, with the Catalan independence, the point is that the EU says it's okay to pull people by the hair. It's okay to hit people over the head.
And that's the issue that we have, because I know that Otto's here, and he really does believe that it would be kind of dangerous for Catalonia to have independence, because they're just going to become a complete communistic society. I don't know about that. I don't really even care at this point. At this point, I am very upset with the way that Spain treated these people trying to have their vote, and the way that the European Union is deafeningly silent on that front.
The Catalonians assembled peacefully. They had their vote. They were voting.
Right.
Who am I to tell other people what their beliefs need to be?
Right.
Right? But it's their actions. Right. If Catalonia becomes a separate state and they start to abuse people and hurt people and stuff like that,
then we're going to have a problem.
But in this, Spain and the EU have come out to be the aggressors.
Yep.
And whether we believe what Catalonians believe is besides the point, truthfully. So Mr. Rajoy rejected any mediation to resolve the Catalonia. Remember, you go ahead. What?
Well, I'm just looking at this.
Oh,
okay, it's back.
Okay,
no, you're good.
Remember, Spain hasn't always been entirely Spain. Okay, there were 3 different parts, and they came together. And so, you know, to say that every country always has to stay the same and the borders have to always be the same, you know, people get to make decisions for their own lives. So Saturday, thousands of people rallied in Madrid for Spanish unity. A similar demonstration is underway in Barcelona in response to last week's referendum. So you do have people in the rest of Spain rallying for unity. The final results from the wealthy northeastern region showed 90% of the 2.3 million people voted to back independence. Turnout was 43%. There have been several claims of irregularities. Of course, those ballot boxes were being thrown all over the place. I mean, I wouldn't trust that vote as far as I could throw it. You know, it was crazy. Nearly 900 people were injured as the police, trying to enforce a Spanish court ban on the vote, attempted to disperse the voters. 33 police officers were also hurt. And so I'm going to play this. This is the Catalonians explaining their reasons. You got it?
I say yes to independence because the Spain is something. Sorry, that was improperly translated. I
yeah, that's okay.
The Spain of the PP. Okay, Partido Popular, and the king don't represent us, and it's the it's okay quickest way to get someone in power with whom we feel at ease, comfortable, and part of a state. I feel Spanish because I'm very Castilian. I'm from I don't even know. I felt at home in Catalonia, but I don't want independence.
So I voted yes, because we are already a country, and because this Spanish government is a problem for everybody. So that's why I think the independence is going to be a solution for everybody.
And
I don't want independence. I've never wanted it. I'm Catalan. I'm also Spanish. And I don't want politicians to manipulate me. I've been wondering about maybe voting yes. But in the end, I prefer not to let them change my mind in 2 weeks. I feel Spanish and Catalan, universal. Yes, because I don't want to belong to a country that stops me from carrying out a referendum. I'm definitely in favor of the relationship ending when there's not an understanding between both sides and for the separation to be cordial and warm, if possible.
Interesting.
That is interesting.
So,
it's good to hear from both sides.
Yeah, there's that. I can't say much more than I can tell you what the EU is saying or not saying.
So my question is,
loud.
Who's to say that it was an actual vote? I mean, not everyone was able to go. Not everybody was able to get to the polls.
Right,
we don't really. I don't even know that you can trust the results.
No, there's absolutely no way you can trust.
You know,
the results.
so it's I don't know. It's all kind of.
It's up, yeah, definitely up in the air.
That's a technical term, by the way.
Yeah. Going over to Greece for just a second, this popped up and I thought I would just share it. It doesn't seem to, it just kind of shows a trend. In Greece, Muslim headscarves dominate student parade in Zeni, northern Greece. So you have these young women who, for the first time in modern Greek history, all students in a parade, in Zenithi, how do you say that, you guys? Were wearing Muslim headscarves. In the past, Muslim headscarves rarely appeared in mass in student parades. The Zenith News reports that the spectacle was unprecedented.
Xanthi? Did you just say Xanthi?
Xanthi? And it became the main topic of discussion in this town of western Thrace. The Muslim minority consists of several ethnic groups, some being Turkish and some Bulgarian-speaking Pomaks, with similar numbers descending from the Ottoman era Greek converts to Islam. The precise identity of these groups is in contention, with Turkey insisting that most Muslims in the Western Thrace are ethnically Turkish. So I don't know. I just thought this was interesting because Greece is Christian, Orthodox. Why are you seeing? And you know what?
Was it a liberal parade?
I have no idea. It was a student parade.
So I don't know that you can always divide it by party. I mean, you
Yeah.
kind of can, but it was just kind of a crazy thing.
Right. And so that was our little Greece section. Now I'm going to take you guys to Sweden, where a Swedish lawyer has come out and said, listen, I'm dealing with a lot of rapes, and I'm dealing with all migrants, and we have to talk about this.
Good for her.
Swedish lawyer, majority of rape suspects in cases are migrants. Swedish lawyer Elisabeth Fritz claims that in the majority of rape cases she has had to work on the suspects have been individuals from migrant backgrounds and has called on the government to lift the lid on the issue. Ms. Fritz took the unusual step of writing about the issue on her Instagram account and posted a picture of herself having just come from a district court in the Swedish capital of Stockholm. She wrote, "The rape reports are increasing at my desk and I have many rapes and group violence. The majority of the suspects I meet in these cases have a foreign background." She then claimed that her colleagues contacted the Swedish National Council for Crime Prevention to examine the national statistics on migrant crime. The BRA, as it's called, also has no number because such statistics do not exist. Now, back a year ago, when everybody was talking about Sweden is the rape capital of the world, and then all these late-night hosts kept saying, no, it's not, and they're bringing up the statistics. Well, since then, people in Sweden are like, we got a problem.
Right.
And, like, people on the outside are like, no, you don't have a problem. You're nothing. Everything is fine here. It's not fine. I'm not sure if I brought up the article. I don't think I did. I'll just let you know that the migrant center has had, I believe, over 2,000 cases of violent threats and sexual harassment. One case, a guy called like 160 times in 1 hour. People to yell at the migrant station. I mean, and two of the migrant, the women who work with migrants, 2 of them have been killed. They're getting rape threats. They're getting death threats.
It's
Police
awful.
Women are being stalked. It's absolutely insane. She says, if we are to work preventatively and stop rape, it's time to find out how the perpetrator looks. We must take the matter seriously and dare to lift the lid. How else will we find these terrible and tough crimes committed to all victims? It is the perpetrator that is the problem. I will proceed with the question because this is not acceptable. Now, we just had a horrible, horrible shooting in Las Vegas.
Yep.
And everybody wants to blame guns. The gun itself didn't shoot anybody. Right. The person behind the gun. So everybody's looking for a motive, right? And the headlines all on the left said, white Christian male shoots people. And why are we letting white males kill people? It's this backlash because certain ethnicities and migrants are causing more crime. And so they want it to be like a kid, like, no, you did it, no, you did it, no, you did it, no, you did it. And you got the one kid who actually didn't do anything, right? Ms. Fritz is just the latest Swede involved in the justice system to blow the whistle on the extent of migrant crime in this country. And then many of you, we covered Peter Springinger. He caused a national uproar. He was a Swedish police officer when he claimed that the majority of criminals he dealt with were migrants. And then, like, I don't even know if he got fired or something.
I think he almost... we did a follow-up on it, and he hadn't been fired yet, but I feel like he almost had to have been because they were very upset at him.
Yeah, he was initially threatened with charges of hate speech and investigated by the police, but the charges were later dropped, and he was offered a column in the Swedish newspaper. The reasoning for offering him a column was so that the paper, rather than Springinger, would be responsible for the content of his writing and will give him protection from prosecution. Shortly after Springinger blew the whistle on the problem, he was backed up by criminology professor Leif Pearson, who said, yes, I have made the same observation, and added, anyone with eyes can know who is doing these kinds of actions.
And here's the thing, guys. I think for those of you that are already red-pilled on the Swedish situation, you get it. But for those of you that aren't, there is an agenda, okay, that the Swedish government, these stupid feminazis, I don't know, they realize that if they flood their country with these migrants, that it'll actually weaken their country and then the women can remain in power. I don't know. But they can't release the fact that the migrants are committing these atrocities and these rapes, because then you would have to address, well, wait a minute, if it's the migrants, then we have to address the migrant problem, kind of like a gun ban or something. We have to ban the migrants. So they will not allow this to come out. This lady's going to be suppressed.
I found the article here. In the first 9 months of 2017, the Swedish Migration Board has reported 2,875 serious incidents against their staff, including threats of rape, assault, and threats to set fire to their offices.
Wow.
Now, I keep comparing this to, like, the gun debate. I'm sorry, maybe you guys in Europe or maybe some Americans, you understand there's a huge gun debate. Everybody's like, we have to get rid of the guns, or we have to do things, we have to be able to stop these things from happening. In New York, it just came out that for Ramadan, there were some guys, they didn't tell us until just now. You think the FBI tells us things? They don't tell us, okay? They're just now telling us that during the month of Ramadan, 3 guys were planning a 9/11 style terror attack, but we didn't hear about it until just now.
Right.
Okay, so they don't tell us these things. How many plots have they stopped? We don't even know the super details of this case. We don't even have the proof, right, in our hands. They just tell us, and we're supposed to believe them, right?
Of course, Leah.
But it's just so weird that you have these serious incidences and you have these threats, but you're not allowed to identify where the threats are coming from. You're not allowed to stop them, right? Because when it comes to migrants, then it's just going to keep happening. There's nothing we can do, right? But when it comes to guns, there's everything we can do, right?
Well, so somebody had left a comment on here, and I want to be respectful for every comment. However, I don't know that even Nigel would let this one go without going, this is kind of a stupid comment. But the question is, how can you stop migrants? We're all migrants pretty much everywhere we are. Well, there's a difference between this mass migration that is happening where Sweden is opening their doors, literally wide open, saying, please, all of you, quote unquote, refugees, which are just economic migrants, okay, coming from Islamic countries where they really do want to come in and ruin everything. They want to you know, rape all the women. They want to implement Sharia law. They want to have their no-go zones where they have literally their own government, their own police, and everything, and make Sweden going from to Sweden, down to people, and then they're all, you know, Afghanistan, Iranian, African, you name it. They want to change it. They want to change an entire country. And Sweden has literally just said, hey, it's a free-for-all. Come over and you can get your free food, and you can get your free housing, and you can get all these free things. And it's always the young males, right? So how do you stop migration? It's that. All right, every country now, we're in the 21st century. We all have a process by which people immigrate into countries. We have borders for a reason. You have to have a passport to get into different countries. It's very, very simple to stop the migration. You close the doors and you say, go get in line, and we'll address you wanting to come here.
Law-abiding citizens, they're the ones that get checked before they go to another country.
Right.
It's these non-law-abiding citizens. If I go over to France and I just say, hey, I'm a migrant, can you start paying for everything for me right now?
Right.
They're going to send me back home.
Exactly.
Right?
It's a very simple process how every country deals with immigration. It's the migrants that we're having an issue with.
It's incredibly racist, where it's like, these
it is racist. They're only allowing in, like, I mean, are they opening the border? If I want to move to Sweden, can I go there right now? Can I get free food and free housing and all? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. I'm Swedish, actually. I should be allowed to go and do that. I wouldn't, because then I'd probably end up getting raped or something. But I'm just saying, it is a racist thing where they're just letting in a certain group of people.
Right. So I wanted to bring that up because somebody had said, well, we just need to train them. In France, we found out, did you guys hear about the no hit on people law in France?
Huh?
Remember we talked about it. You're not allowed to, and you're not allowed to go.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot.
They want
it's so ridiculous.
They want a law in France.
Some people do.
But what's crazy is the feminists are coming out against this. Now listen, they want a law that you just can't randomly come up to people and like hit on them in the public. And
the feminists are against it
because they're saying it's racist. Because the law is targeted towards migrants.
Oh, okay.
So, do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they're like, you know, you can't. And so she said, the feminist said, we just need to train these people about what is proper and what is not proper way to treat people.
It does not work that way.
Now,
although I love that they're calling it hitting on them, because a lot of times
I don't know what
these guys, it's not really hitting on them. Like, it's totally different.
It's really weird. It's so weird. I don't want to go into it. It's that they go up and they just randomly touch people. That's why people in France don't want to.
That's not hitting on someone. That's assaulting them.
Right. So Swedish feminist. Why is it so bad that a Muslim man has 3 wives? Now, I think we covered this before, that the Swedish government has given this dude, this Syrian man with 3 wives, he's got 3 homes, I believe. Yes, 3 wives, gets 3 homes. And this is translated, so work with me. The Nacka municipality in Sweden bought 3 expensive apartments for this Syrian immigrant Ahmad Suleiman, right here pictured 50 left. He has 3 wives and 16 children. The same municipality has referred an elderly, ill Swedish man to sleep on the street. Picture only. After the Swedish Democrats in Nacka published the news about the Syrian, his 3 wives, and their 3 apartments, the case has gained unusually widespread attention. People have reacted with shock and disbelief. So the total, I believe here, is 13,950,000 Swedish dollars, but I guess it's 1.7 million American dollars, from what I understand. And they are buying homes for migrants, millions of dollars worth of homes. And this woman here, this feminist artist and writer, Ulla Lundgaard, cannot understand why it is so outrageous that the Muslim men bring several wives when they come to Sweden. It may even be that they live a much more interesting life than many Swedish couples do after 30 years of being married. Ulla Lundgaard's article is a comment to the upset voices that were raised after it became known, about the guy getting 3 houses.
Wow.
Why do we place so much emphasis on the fact that this man has the 3 wives? And why are we talking with disgust that the municipality has to get apartments for all of these? They also have the right to housing, right? She states that we must not let our prejudices and established traditional bound norms stand in the way of how enriching it may actually...
No.
It may actually be for Muslim men to have a set of wives. The children have 3 mothers with different qualities and ages that can help out when needed.
Wow.
They can even share their love for the man and live in the same house. It's more than any of us can imagine.
It's more than any of us can imagine. Swedish Islamic polygamy.
When I grew up, we had Swedish meatballs and Swedish pancakes, and we talked about the fjords. We didn't talk about the Muslim men having the 3 wives. Wives. If you didn't know, Michelle and I are Swedish. The Svensk is sons. Sven sons. The son of Svensk with nest, double S. So anyways, it's this one. This just goes to show that feminists are totally their minds are gone from their brains. I don't know if they've just been sucked out by like aliens or something.
I think that's the only logical explanation.
Yeah. How enriching this could be. This is like the Sister Wives show here.
Creepy.
That this is not enriching. This is like totally anti-feminist. Where a Muslim man can have 3 wives.
No, Leah, it's empowering for those women to choose to be one of 3 wives or more.
And the children can be raised by 3 mothers? Isn't this exciting?
It's beyond what we could imagine.
Any thoughts? Anybody? I think I just lost my words.
Oh my gosh. No, but they like your accent.
Thank you very much. I had to practice it all the time.
That was too much fun. All right. You sound good being Swedish.
Thank you very much.
Salvatore says... Salvatore, I got your message. Salvatore says that he has some interesting news on the Las Vegas shooting. Oh. So we may possibly get to him and see what he's got. So, let's see. Miss Muffet's Tuffet. No, okay. So she had said, stop blaming women for all of your problems, you men. And Britt Baza says, we aren't blaming women. The fact is the laws of Europe now work against us for protecting women now. And that's really true. Here at Resistance Chicks, if you're new here and you don't know, Leah and I are not 2nd and 3rd wave feminists. We are 1st wave feminists. But as far as anything beyond, I don't even like that term. Like, I don't even want to call myself a 1st wave feminist.
We're peopleists.
We're peopleists. Everybody should have a right, like, in common. But what has happened is these feminists, the 2nd and 3rd wave feminists, have hijacked the world. They have hijacked politically correct phrases, and they have diminished men to the point where men are now the ones that are discriminated against. It's terribly sad, and the men, their hands are tied. Right. For what you can't say anything. It's so fine for a woman to get up and make a joke about men, you know what I mean? He's lazy or just whatever the classic cliche men jokes are. It's totally acceptable. But nowadays, if a man gets up and makes like a cliche woman, you know, oh, she's just so emotional or whatever, then everybody's going to blow up and go put... Here's the thing. There are differences that are unique and wonderful and beautiful between men and women. And the feminists want to have their cake and eat it too.
So, what's very... I mean, it's incredibly feminist to say, no, a man can't have 3 wives. Because that's like property.
Right.
You don't... That's like a man getting to choose. Can a woman have 3 husbands? That's not a thing in Islam. Okay? It's not a thing. When these men die and go to, like, heaven, I've heard of women say, what do women get? Like, I've heard them ask Muslim scholars, well, what do women get? Well, you get to not be harassed by men anymore because they have their virgins, and then they have their wives, and they have, like, the 5,000 different... So, like, they've got this weird... it's just weird.
I'm sorry. When she said that, I was literally trying to process having 3 husbands in my mind. And I'm like... It's the most absurd thing I can imagine. Like, it doesn't... I can't even compute. Because the way that I believe gender roles work is that the house runs kind of like our government. It's a beautiful thing. You got the president, the vice president, you got all the cabinet members, okay? And so if you were to have, you know, a vice president and then 3 presidents, what good does that do you? You know, I'm just trying to fathom this whole thing. We're very, very biblical. Somebody had asked a question a minute ago, what kind of Christians we are. We're just Bible-believing ones. We don't align ourselves with any kind of denomination. We just literally take the word of God and try to live it out. And in that, I can't dismiss the way that the Bible talks about the way a family should run and the way a household should run. So if you want to know what kind of feminists we are, if you want to know what kind of Christians we are, read the Bible. You'll find out.
The Bible says that men should love their wives as Christ loved the church and laid down his life
down. It's harder to be the husband, man. Y'all got to be willing to lay down your wife.
Right.
And treat us like Jesus. And that's hard. Treating people like Jesus is hard.
Yeah.
Okay, go on. Move on.
So here's the article I was talking about. Feminist academics protest this racist law against street harassment. A group of feminist academics have railed against plans to make street harassment illegal in France on the grounds that the new laws could stigmatize men with migrant backgrounds. It is well known that radicalized young men from the working classes already suffer more than other people from police violence and oppression.
Oh, stop it.
Assert the academics. In a letter opposing equality, Minister Marlene Schiappa's announcement that the MPs are working on legislation to reduce street harassment. It would be enough to train the perpetrators on the ground to change their behavior. So what are you going to do? Round up every single migrant and give them a don't touch women, don't harass people seminar.
Yeah.
And the question is...
it would be really effective, I think.
The question is why would you need to retrain all the migrants? What's going on in their countries of origin? Okay? Write this 15 signatory stating, creating a new offense will only strengthen the repression and control of men of disadvantaged groups. So, and then they go on to say, but what about women who are harassed at work and at homes and all these different things? So,
I have sent you 2 links for the end. The Nigel one and then another funny one.
Speaking in September on what would be covered in the new legislation, the equality minister said, you are a woman in an underground train. I am a man. I follow you. You get off the train. I get off. You get on another train. I get on too. I ask you for your telephone number. I ask again. I ask a 3rd time. You feel oppressed. That is street harassment. Make that illegal. I like it. I like it. The crackdown followed the publication of a number of surveys which outlined the prevalence of street harassment in some parts of France. Now, actually, they're calling it street harassment, but this is what I was talking about before, where I think this was, no, this wasn't. There was a study I got conducted that said a majority of women feel unsafe to use public transport in Paris. They just feel unsafe. One woman said, if I get on a train or something, I'll sit next to another woman. I'll sit back next to a family. Wow. Why should you feel unsafe? It's just in France of all places. So there's France. Okay, so we're still in France. The Marseille. Thank you. Terrorist Ahmed Hennechi avoided deportation the day before the attack.
Wow.
So when we're talking about controlling borders, we're talking about deporting people. Mm-hmm. And then when we talk about gun control, what could have prevented this? Right? What could have prevented this? French prosecutors have confirmed a 29-year-old illegal Tanzanian migrant, Ahmed Hennechi, who fatally stabbed 2 young women on a train station in Marseille, southern France, had avoided deportation after authorities failed to detain him the day before the attack. On a train.
Somebody is going to bear that on their conscience for the rest of their lives.
Well, I hope so. Furthermore, the Paris prosecutor's office has confirmed the Tanzanian had been arrested about a dozen times since his illegal entry into the country and operated under 7 different identities.
How can you arrest somebody 6 times and then have them are they like a greased pig? That's kind of a funny Muslim thing. But I mean, seriously, you can't hang on to them?
12.
12 times. I think it's a half a dozen.
12
times! That makes it even better. How is it that you can't hang on to somebody? You can't pin anything on them. It almost feels like they're letting them go on purpose.
But here's the thing. When we talk about, I still keep going back to this gun control. What could we have done to stop this guy? What could we have done to stop this guy? This guy was arrested 12 times. It's cut and dry what you could have done 12 other times. Right? So the victims of the attack, who died after being stabbed whilst waiting for a train at St. Charles Station on Sunday, have also been named as cousins. 21-year-old Laura Premier and 21-year-old Marim Harel. So these are cousins. Stabbed.
Stop!
Hanichi, whose identity was confirmed by Tanzanian authorities as one of their nationals Monday evening, was shot dead by French soldiers on anti-terrorism duties as part of Operation Sentinel after he launched the attack. Witnesses reported the terrorist to have shouted Allahu Akbar,
right,
whilst slitting one girl's throat and then stabbing the other with a knife. And then the Islamic State News Agency claimed that they did it. So he was known for criminal acts in his home country and across North Africa. So here's the thing. This is why you have to have closed borders. You check people out. You check out who they are. You look at their ID.
Right.
You check them out. If they have a criminal background, then you don't get to come in. But with the EU's open borders, you are literally letting in tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of criminals. And the people who close their eyes are like a part of a really bad movie. Really bad movie. The rest of us, like, our eyes are open, we're awake, we can see it.
Right.
Okay? So he had been arrested nearly a dozen times between 2005 and 2014 by French police. Seriously. It revealed that the Tanzanian had been detained ahead of a deportation order a day before the attack after his most recent arrest for shoplifting, but was released because authorities were unable to reach the person responsible for signing the detention orders at the Rhone prefecture, and because there was allegedly not any room in the detention center. French Daily noted that only 30% of illegal migrants who have passed through an administrative detention center are ever deported, with Tanzanians representing their third highest number of illegals expelled. So, failed deportation and the use of multiple identities bear similarity to the circumstances surrounding the attack perpetrated by fellow Tanzanian Anis Amri in Germany in December 2016, when the asylum seeker hijacked and rammed a lorry into the Christmas market, killing 12 and injuring 50.
Right. That was awful.
Now, I want to bring this other story while we're in France. This 10-year-old Jewish girl was repeatedly beaten bloody by Muslim classmates.
We didn't cover this.
The real hatred and bigotry no one dares talk about is Islamic, the era of savages. This is from Pamela Gellert. She holds no punches. Instead, the elites bigify threats from non-existent Nazis and non-existent Islamophobes. The Islamic Jew hatred, it's in the Quran, so we are expected to respect this barbaric ideology. A 10-year-old girl was assaulted by her classmates, and the home of a family was daubed with anti-Semitic graffiti in 2 Paris area incidents deemed anti-Semitic. This time they wrote, "Screw the bleep Jews, death to Jews, long live Palestine." In recent years, the same family found in their mailbox an envelope featuring the words Allahu Akbar with 9mm bullets inside.
Wow.
They later received another envelope with a bullet from an AK-47. The next one is for you. This was not the exception but the rule, according to Francis Califat, the president of CRIF, Federation for the Jewish Communities of France. Anti-Semitic harassment has made public schools unsafe for Jews, leading to a sharp drop in the number of Jews attending them. In the past, a third of Jewish parents enrolled their children in public schools, but now no one does it. The French girl was hospitalized. A 10-year-old was assaulted by her classmates. The alleged assault was reported to France Ministry of Education. Separately, the same group reported that unidentified individuals on Wednesday wrote anti-Semitic slogans, I told you, on the house. The mother of the girl who allegedly was assaulted complained to police recently that a group of classmates of her daughter in the public school which she attends beat her on multiple occasions, often occurring day after day only because she is Jewish.
And they allowed this to keep happening.
Right. After one beating, Ness was brought to the hospital, it's a fake name, with a visible contusion on her stomach and ribcage. I don't understand it. I don't understand how this can happen. What do you guys think? I don't understand. I don't understand. Why is France becoming Islamic, and why is it that Islamic violence is so okay? It's so okay. I don't get it. I don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. Tell me. Tell me. Tell me why we watch these migrants behind ours just fight each other while we're at it. Or whatever.
Oh my gosh. Let's see. Box One says UK police let loose so many terrorists. The train bomber at Parson Green, the car attack at a Natural History Museum, murder, rape, and terror suspects are walking free. It's almost like they do it on purpose, I feel. Britt Baza says France is a war zone because they want to get to the UK, but we won't let them all in.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. They get stopped up in Paris.
Right.
Or they get stopped up in France at Calais and places like that.
And Gary, of course, adds that France should not have voted for macaroni.
Macaroni. She just goes by, though, we'll fight. This is hilarious to me.
But it's not, though. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's absurd.
This is the best thing I've seen all day.
In Sweden, 80,000 immigrants from the wave of 2015 were to be deported. So far, only a handful have. Let's see. Matthew Morin says they don't understand the golden rule unless this is the way they would like to be treated.
Yeah, this is hilarious to me.
Wow.
You missed the guy coming out with a broom on the head to smack him.
To stop it? To break it up?
No, it just started smacking him on the head.
Oh my gosh.
They just got punched this dude.
All right, so what else do you have for today? Because if not, I sent you a few links.
Okay, that one was just too funny for me. Last thing I have is if my connection was interrupted. In Brussels, Belgium, there was a guy detained for screaming Allahu Akbar. Was detained in Brussels after being... What?
We're buffering. No, we're back.
After being... So this is a translation. A 41-year-old man was detained in Brussels after being dangerous on a train running in the capital's area, local media reported. The case has been confirmed by the prosecutor's office. The man wore a knife with a blade of 28 centimeters and screamed in Arabic, Allah is great. He was inoffensive and said he wanted to finish the work started by the Nazis. So this was from last Tuesday, and I wanted to bring that to you guys. So you sent the links to
your Facebook. Britt Baza was answering a question about the gun laws in France, and he says France is basically under the European Union gun laws, and the EU want to ban guns, but there's more illegal guns in France than legal ones.
Yes, absolutely. There's more illegal guns. UK gun violence is up. Did you guys know that? UK gun violence was up.
Which they're not all illegal. You can definitely legally have guns in the UK, but it's hard to get them, and they're for hunting. All right, so go to, not that one. Go up. Let's do Nigel first. Go back up. No,
how many did you send me?
Well, I only sent you where's the Nigel one I sent you?
It's not,
all right,
yeah.
Let me resend it. Go open this one up. Okay. Worth a look just sent that in the chat.
Massive rally closes London's Park Lane. Football fans protest against terrorism. Somebody sent me this earlier this week.
No, that was from today.
Sure? There was another one then. Oh, then there was another one. Cool. Okay, thousands of football fans descended on London today to protest against extremism after a spat of terror attacks in the UK. Members of anti-extremist group Football Lads Alliance, the FLA, and fan bases from across the country gathered in droves on the bus Park Lane shortly before 1 p.m. on Saturday. The 5-lane carriageway was closed off to its usual throng of vehicles as the huge groups of fans formed long channels along the road. Images from the protest show some wearing sports caps and carrying flowered wreaths to represent their local clubs. The protest was organized by FLA founder John Megan. Did I say that right? Who said the group hoped to demonstrate concern at the recent upsurge of UK terror attacks in the wake of Manchester and London bombings. So, wow. Did any of you go? However, the event has been criticized by anti-racism charity Stand Up to Racism, who claimed several speakers at the previous FLA march in June had ties to far-right organizations such as the English Defence League. Shadow Home Secretary Diane Abbott was among those who added her name to a petition last week expressing concern at alleged links to the groups. But in his address to the crowd on Saturday, Mr. insisted the crowd was made up of normal people who wanted to unite against a common cause. He said, "We're against all extremism, no matter what the press says. We're just normal people." So, do we have any videos for it?
I don't know. That was just the link that he sent, but I really like that they did that. I'm really supportive. Now they mean soccer for you American folks.
Oh yes. Kicking with the football.
We're having our own football issues. Our football people are protesting the American flag and a slew of other things.
And the nationalism
and whatever. In the UK, the football players are protesting something entirely different.
Yes.
So there you go. All right, I have resent you the Nigel one.
Okay.
There it is.
There it is.
It's just a little clip.
Okay.
In today's Sunday Times magazine, there is a photograph on the front of Hillary Clinton, and she's in London. She's been interviewed at some length by Christina Lamb of the Sunday Times, and she's here because she's got a book. She's launching a book. It's called What Happened, and it's why she didn't become the President of the United States of America. And none of it's her fault. Absolutely. In fact, she's never, ever got anything wrong in her entire life. It's because of horrible, awful, vile people. People who were behind Brexit that then dared to get themselves involved in the American elections. She speaks of Farage with disgust. He came to the US to campaign for Trump and spent half of his remarks insulting me in a very personal way and talking about Trump as an alpha male, the silverback gorilla. I think of those images and what that says about what is acceptable and what's not. So I'm not acceptable. I'm looking forward actually to reading a bit more of the book. The book is available. It's on sale for £20, published by Simon & Schuster. It's called What Happened, but perhaps should be renamed The Great Big Whinge. So there. Now, earlier on, we...
Oh my gosh.
I got it.
Okay.
That was awesome. Thank you for that.
Yes, thank you, Faraj. Now, the last thing we're going to get to, this is going to be the song that we end it with today. We're not singing. This is someone else's song, which means we probably won't be able to monetize this video, and that's okay. It's worth playing. Britt Baza had sent, did you watch it?
No, did you?
I did.
Chance.
I did. It's in your messages. Go up. Now, he says this is how a lot of us feel, you guys there in the UK. So we're just going to let this...
the immigration song.
We came to England through the tunnel last night.
That's right, that's right.
We claim asylum, now they're treating us right.
So right, so right.
Something tells me, Ahmed, this is the place to be. 'Cause here we're getting everything and we're getting it for free.
Oh, I've got a brand new leather jacket and a brand new mobile phone. A Brits, they live in cardboard boxes while we get furnished homes. Legal aid driving lessons, central heating and free pills. Oh, we get all the benefits and you get all the bills.
I couldn't not play this.
They drove a lorry from IKEA straight to...
It had to be played.
You pay.
TVs and furniture, it was mostly okay.
You pay.
But the flat, it wasn't suitable. The council's run by fools. After crossing 15 countries, we need heated swimming pools.
Oh, I've got a brand new leather
And this is what we were talking about with Sweden. They're going to get all of these
in cardboard boxes while we get furnished homes. Legal aid driving lessons, central heating and free pills. Oh, we get all the benefits and you get all the bills.
It's very true.
We go to garage to buy nice motor car.
Prices no bar.
Flash BMW, 'cause we come so far.
Prices no bar.
It costs many thousands, but man, oh what the heck. We come back tomorrow and we pay with a welfare check.
Oh, I've got a brand new leather jacket and a brand new mobile phone. Brits, they live in cardboard boxes while we get furnished homes. Legal aid driving lessons, central heating and free pills. Oh, we get all the benefits and you get all the bills.
So, I'm going to stop it there. It's a 4-minute song. We could play the whole thing, but then there's a picture of some kind of ill-clad lady in a cart. But I'm going to drop this link in the description for sure, so you guys can play it over and over again and get that stuck in your head and have a happy day. Thank you, Britt Baza, Barry, for sending that to us.
Thank you.
Let's see. Gonzalez says Hillary Clinton tweeted about dedication of her infamous book to her family, or dedicating it, I tweeted, a book that slanders the President of the United States and promotes sedition. So, back to the Hillary book there. So, anyway, I felt like that song was really fun. It gets even more fun. You can watch it. And like I said, I'm going to drop it in the link description there.
That's it.
That's the end.
There is no more.
There is no more.
Until we come back to the European UK news once more. That is the end, there ain't no more. Until we come back to the UK
news once more.
Once more.
There you go.
Yeah. Final thoughts?
Let's see. Oh yeah, question. Hey Brits, what is the whinge? I didn't have time to look it up.
What is the whinge?
What is the whinge? I don't know. We need to know.
What is the whinge?
And we have a lot of Polish viewers today, so thank you, our Polish viewers, for being here.
Did you guys go pray?
Whinge is to moaning.
Okay. How many of our Polish viewers did you go to the
Yeah,
coast?
I would be interested to hear if any of our Polish viewers went and did the coastline prayers.
Did you feel a change? Difference? Powerful? Feel the anointing Spirit of God?
I'm sure they did. And even as a country, because it's a small country, you have to feel it wherever you're at.
Yeah.
Let's see. Salvatore. Yes, I saw the video. And we'll just chat later about that. So I want to sign off here. We go live every Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sundays. So you can always find us live. I know a lot of you are like, I never know when you're going to go live. We don't either. So there you go. It's usually in the evenings, sometime between like 6 and 10. Anytime between there, we'll get started.
But definitely Fridays at 6 and Sundays at 1 for your European coverage. Not that we don't cover European news throughout the week.
And this is just for a recap. This is the prayer chain that went around Poland. Remember, it's not just a conspiracy theory. If it's the truth, like our videos, comment on them. If you left a comment that was pertinent, after the video processes, take it and put it there so that we can see it. And Leah can read them too, because I can read the comments as they pass by, but Leah cannot. If you want to send us any mail, tell them the address really quick.
P.O. Box 107, Milford, Milford, Ohio 45150. If you want to send drop any lines through the snail mail. We like letters. It's always nice to.
So for those of you, I like to let you all know a little bit about our moderators every once in a while. One I'm going to showcase today is Brian. He is Sooks, and I think I saw him here earlier. So one of our dear friends that you'll see often come on is Ashley. She has a dear friend named Brian who's become a friend of ours who we've never met. And so he sent a candle.
Ashley is like a friend. Like
Ashley's like one of our best friends. Right. So a friend of your best friend is definitely your friend. So that's why he's one of the moderators. He's very awoke, very red-pilled.
Sends us a lot of links.
And he sends us a lot of links. So there you are, Brian. He also sent us a candle from Florida. And this is called the Homesick Candle. And it's supposed to smell like Ohio. So I was opening it up, and it smells really, really awesome. But how do you capture the scent of a state in a candle? I don't know. I definitely could buy that it kind of smells like Ohio. But we wanted to thank you, do a shout out. And I'm going to try to go through a little bit, maybe on our live shows, maybe on Fridays, and pull out a different moderator so you guys can get to know a little bit about them and who they are. But Brian lives in Florida, like I said, very awoke, very red-pilled, and very well-researched as well. So you can have every bit of confidence in taking the comments that he puts down with way more than a grain of salt. So
don't buy the candles that smell like New Jersey.
Oh my gosh. All right, so I don't know if we have any other comments. Do we have a song?
I didn't have a song.
You didn't have a song?
No.
Oh, because earlier Gary sent me another moderator. Put your hand in the hand of the man, and I was like, Gary, dude, that's like a country twang, and I don't even have the lyrics for that. If you could pull it up, we might be able to sing it. No, you don't want to sing it. Put your hand in the hand of the man who stills the water.
I'll let you sing it.
Put your hand in the hand of the man who calms the sea. Put your hand in the hand, and I don't remember the rest part. And you will look at others differently.
You got it. You got it, girl.
Put your hand in the hand of the man from Galilee. Is there another verse?
Yeah, but I don't know if it goes the same.
I don't think it does.
That's the only verse I've ever heard.
That's the only one. We're not singing the next one. So there you go. That's what you have. That's what you're getting for the day, because I don't know that other one. And Sydney is definitely joining in. So, okay, so I want to thank all of our moderators for being here today. Kelly, Maya, Worth a Look, Gary, Will was here. I feel like I'm missing somebody, and if I am, I'm really sorry. But thank you guys for being with us today. We always enjoy our UK and Euro news. We're signing off because we're going to go to a... are we going?
I'm not sure yet.
Oh, we may or may not go. But some of our friends are celebrating the Feast of Tabernacles.
Sukkot. Yeah.
Sukkot. So we may grab something and head out that way. So we love you guys. Tomorrow we're going to come back. I think I can promise this. And bring more on the... We're not going to get rid of the Las Vegas thing. There is so much to bring you guys. But today is our European UK news, so we're not touching that. We're just not doing it.
We talked about it a lot.
Yeah, we have talked about it. We've been covering it. But we're definitely going to bring it back to you guys because there is so much more to flesh out. And this is going to keep going on. And then we have our own other news in the United States that we also need to get to. So tomorrow, I have no idea what time, but we'll definitely bring that back to you guys. So we love you. God loves you. God bless. I think that rounds us off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Bye, guys.